Okay, guys, so I want to be extremely clear on this. My intention about speaking about my near-death experience is there's no need to talk about discrediting religion. I am from a Christian faith. However, there are Christians who will believe that I'm speaking out of terms, and that's okay. Religion was needed, and that's why it's here, because it gives people a modality to feel safe in connecting to the God consciousness, to understanding love and compassion and kindness and reverence and following the graces of God. So there are words that I will use that according to one denomination or the other will not be familiar with or not like. However, that's okay with me. What I'm trying to do is cross this bridge that we can be of Christian faith and speak about a near-death experience, be of Christian space, be of Christian faith or a Christian background or a religious background, any religion, and feel free to express ourselves because we have communion with Spirit also, because we understand the expansiveness of God, that we really shouldn't try to box God in one room. It's not easy for me. I'm a Jamaican girl. I'm born Caribbean, and everything that I was taught is Christian and still is. It's embedded in me. I still go to church. I love church, but I don't love church. I don't go to church like I used to before my near-death experience. I went to church in fear. I used to go to church with a shame that was heavy on me because of things that happened before, maybe things that I did before, and I felt unworthy going to church. So I went to church trying to find God there, and then I would feel disappointed after most services that I don't think I found God. I don't think God hears my voice. I felt as if I didn't belong. You know, you're trying to fit somewhere, but you don't feel like you belong because I didn't understand that God flowed through me also, and that I'm boots on the ground for God. Not until I had this near-death experience, I understood how important kindness was, how important it was for me to choose to give love and not withhold love, even in the most minute situations. When I had my near-death experience and I had this life review of which I didn't know what this was until 2021. I didn't know there was something called a near-death experience. I didn't know what I had was a near-death experience until I think I was talking to somebody one day and they said to me, that sounds like something I watch on YouTube. That's some convoluted stuff. Listen, you need to check yourself out. That's the devil. But I kept connecting what they were telling me, that I had a run-in with the devil, with how I felt during my near-death experience, and I couldn't put them together. I was like, that had nothing to do with the devil. That was all God, because when I had my near-death experience, you don't understand the love that you feel when you change form to spirit. It's something that you can't explain. It's not a love I've ever felt here before, because I immediately knew that there was no condition applied to this love. I was taken to the space where there was nothing but light, and I know all the angelic team was there, and so was my grandmother figure who's been guiding me since I was a child, that I was so afraid to talk about, because I was brought up to say that the living has nothing to do with the dead. So if you're communing with the dead, then it's the devil. I had this fear growing up. Do you understand? So when that friend of mine said to me, your near-death experience was a communion with the devil, I couldn't put it together, because while I was in that space, that spiritual space, there was nothing but love, and there was nothing but truth and holiness, and there was like no time or anything like that. There was nothing that, caused me to think to myself, to say, this is not true. that this is not of love, that this is not real. This was a coming home to self. And I've wanted to repeat that over and over again. I did not have fear. I did not have any thought of bills or stress, or everything was stripped away. And I realized this is God. God is everything, everyone, everywhere. And then I started to see things truthfully, that, oh my gosh, we have been trying to contain something that which can never be contained. We're trying to own something that didn't come here to be owned. We are supported in every way, shape, and form. So when I speak to stories, don't take it so personal where you're like, how dare you, how dare me speak my truth. That's important. Do you understand what I mean? How dare me tell you that you are love and that you deserve all the love that you can create from your thought, and you can be anything that you want to be. Just believe, just trust, and just know that no matter the color of your skin, on the other side, none of that matters. It doesn't matter. What matters is the very minute times that you choose to give love. That person who deserved a smile just because you felt like, you know what, I'm going to smile at them. Now look, oh, you look beautiful today. Somebody that you can give a lending hand. You can hold the door for somebody. Somebody that you can pay their bill at the supermarket just because they can't. The child that you can give a hug just because there's no mother or father there. Your baby when they're just born, when you look into their eyes and you can see God looking back at you. Those moments. And this is what I took back. So this is not to discredit any religion. I'm just telling you that God is not contained in any room. And I had the biggest problem explaining this to my mother, because she never understood. She also, I think, she never said it, but I knew, because I feel she felt that I was confused somehow between God and the devil. So she never asked the question, but I could feel the judgment. And I remember one day she called me very recently, and my near-death experience happened 2021, and it took her this long to face me. And I think because I'm talking so much more now, and she doesn't know how to dissect it. She doesn't know how to feel about it. And I remember my guide said to me, let me show you how to explain to her. And they showed me. And this is in my book. And I think I'll put it in every book. The angel showed me a visual of the mansions with many rooms. And he explained to me that which is God. And when I stopped to explain, so the angel explained to me in this way, this is something that was visual. I saw this big white mansion. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And as I zoned into this mansion, it had hundreds of rooms. And the angel said to me, within this mansion, there are many rooms. And he went on to zone into every room. And as he went to the doors opened, big, beautiful golden doors, and the light just shone into each room. And he said, some rooms have religions. And within the rooms, there are beautiful stained glass and singing and prayers. And some rooms have chanting and herbs. And he kept going from one room to the other. Some rooms have just a chair and tears because of trauma or pain. And he just went going from room to room. But each time he took me out back into the passage, which was this beautiful passage, and all you could see were golden doors. It was massive. Every time he said to me, can you feel God? Every room that I would go to, he would ask, can you feel God? And I just knew, yes, I can feel God. And the last room that I went to, it was like this native room. You know, our ancestors that we could use to see the Indians with the land and just swimming in the water. It was so harmonic. And then I was outside of this mansion, and the angel said, "Can you see God outside this mansion?" And I knew the answer was yes. And immediately, it's like creation started to form outside the mansion, and I was seeing the hills and the valleys and the mountains, and it was the animals, the birds, you could hear it. It was just creation happening all over again. And the angel said, "Can you feel God outside this mansion?" And I knew the answer was yes. And then I was taken further away, and the further I went, now you're looking on the earth like a globe, but beyond that, you were seeing universes, everything in creation just happening as if it wasn't stopping. So I have a painting here with multiple universes because I've seen it with my eyes. And the angel said, "Can you contain," I never forget, "can you contain God?" And I said, "No." He said, "Go and tell them that God is everything, everywhere, and everyone." I will never forget those 3 words. And it was the most magnificent thing, because the further you went, you realize, oh my God, there's more. And the more creation is happening, you said, oh my gosh, there's more, because in everything, everywhere, everyone is God. It's a representation of God, which proved to me that we're trying to contain God in a place, but what we should be doing is experience God where we are. Okay, so you're a Christian, experience God in your Christianness. You're of this denomination, experience God in that denomination that you are, but do not judge the other person who knows God the way they know God because the way they were taught. Because it's not the messenger that we focus on. We focus on the message of love, of oneness, of reverence, of faith, of miracles, of healing. I can keep going all day. There is nobody that can ask me if I believe in God. I know God without the shadow of a doubt. Where is doubt? I don't have doubt when it comes to God and the creation and the blessings and the infinite possibilities of the God consciousness. But I will never look on God as something that is contained in one place, in one belief. I just know that I am a part of God, and I'm just grateful for that. So whatever modality you use to meet God where you are, I applaud you, and I ask you to be true and holy to yourself, and I ask you to hold on to reverence and hold on to faith and share it and pass it on the best way you know how. And in every minute situation, try to be boots on the ground for God, where God can use you to help somebody else, to redirect somebody, to be the sign that says, wait, observe. You're kind of going off balance here. You don't have to choose the dark. You can choose the light. There is a beautiful balance right here where I am, where God is. No matter what you choose to do, which part of the world you are living in. Because it's like, how can you expect everybody in the whole world who are from different cultures and different parts of the world with different belief systems to believe exactly what you believe? What matters is the kindness of their hearts and the truth that they're willing to tell of what God did for them. That's it. The message is ingrained there. Okay? So I will speak a lot more because I am at that point right now where I must speak, and I have learned to listen to my guides. So get used to the miracles, get used to the stories, and I never will ever think or try to contain God. God is everything, everyone, everywhere. So when I speak, I don't speak for a religion, for a modality. I just speak for God. And wherever you are, God meets you there. Okay? And you're deserving. You don't have to be washed white as snow. You just need to say yes, basically. Okay? Yes to loving yourself. Yes to healing yourself. And in that, miracle starts to happen. All right? See you in the next one.